Say hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me is my guy Spin Doc Sports. Doc, how are you doing over there?
It's a good Monday. K-props have been absolutely smacking lately over the last 2.5 weeks, hitting at 70%, which is a number that even exceeds the goal that I set for myself before the season. It's been pretty crazy. So you got that, and then you got a certain football team behind me that handled business yesterday. So it was a good weekend.
That was good. How's the fantasy football treating you? I know you're a big fantasy football
Yeah,
guy.
doing good. Doing good. I think in the five I'm in, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. Should win 3, lose 2. The biggest money one, I had Burrow and T. Higgins, so obviously that wasn't happening. But my guy Tony Pollard almost led us back. If he had scored on that last drive he was in, that would have done it. But overall, a fine start to the year. There's nothing like I don't have J.K. Dobbins in any of my teams. I don't have anybody that had any serious injuries. So
That's a successful weekend in itself, right there.
What's that?
That's a successful week right there. Just avoiding all the injuries. Yeah.
Nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt. One more than I lost, so we're good.
By the way, breaking news. Apparently, Chris Jones just agreed with the Chiefs to come back. So shout out to him. But we're talking baseball here. We appreciate everyone here for joining us. Yes, baseball is still going on. Professor Chris, I appreciate you for joining us here. Amongst all the football, baseball's still here, and we're still killing it. Like I tweeted out, this is my first show as a winning capper all year. It took me 160 days, but we finally broke that invisible barrier. We'd love to see that. Now the real challenge is staying above this, finishing the season as a winning capper. And today's a pretty heavy day for me, volume-wise, Doc. So it's going to be a fun one to talk about. Let's get right into it.
Actually, before we do, I was going to say, so I have a K-prop for everybody that I'll give later when we get to it. But I also, just for fun, I have I gave to my VIP, but I'll give it here too. I have a 5-play parlay that's worth a light sprinkle, I think, tonight. All day.
Sure.
So I'll mention the games of the pieces as we get to them, and then I'll put it all together at the end. So go ahead.
Well, beautiful. I can't wait. I'm already in. I'll bet a 5-leg parlay. Sure. I love that. But by the way, a fun thing, I have a gambling group text with all my pals from Virginia when I grew up, and they all gamble now. And we do a friends and family parlay every Sunday with the football games, every NFL games. And I've learned just with that, we have hit one in now 2 years of doing it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, 8-leg parlays are literally like once every 2-year things that happen. So when you hit one, you have to celebrate it. But I'm ready for this 5-legger.
Super light. Like I told my people, I'm like, put $5 on it, put $10, like money you don't care if you lose. But I saw value in all 5 of these, and they're all on pitchers. So I'll tell you when we get to them.
Beautiful. And by the way, I was the one that ruined the parlay this week. Shout out to the fucking Steelers, you bums.
Oh,
bigger shout out to the Orioles here, who are one of the architects of me coming back this season. We've continued to bet them basically every day. We bet them every game against the Red Sox. It took 2 out of 3, unsurprisingly. We continue the trend here. But today will be more interesting to watch because today is the return of John Means. Once upon a time, a Cy Young buzz around John Means when this Orioles team was horrible, ripped his UCL. Tommy John didn't, come back as fast as other people kind of struggled through it a bit. Came back finally and is now at a point where the Orioles feel more comfortable enough to throw him out here. He's been in the minors for quite a little bit of time now, or quite a lot of time, I should say. It's been a bunch of 4 or 5 inning starts now, so he's stretched out, we can say, to 5 innings. We expect him to go that much here if he pitches well, obviously. But his last few starts were 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks, 2 walks. 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned run, 6 Ks, 2 walks. 4 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, and a home run, 2 Ks, 2 walks there. He's obviously a lefty, so that's a little worrisome when it comes to the
I think
Cardinals.
Kramer's
But
tonight. I think it's Kramer
oh,
tonight,
they
isn't it?
switched it to Kramer.
I think it's Kramer tonight.
Oh, well, there goes all the work I fucking did, huh?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
well, I guess I've got to rebet this shit as well too. That sucks. Okay, well, I got to rebet that. I have to check my bet sheet too, I guess now, huh? Doc, I'll just let you cook because I've been going on too long about fucking John Means, who's not
No,
even
that's
pitching
okay.
today.
That's okay. Okay, so for this one, the first piece of the parlay, all of these pieces of this parlay are going to be the pitcher, starting pitcher to get a win, yes, or to not get a win, no. And again, this is not something I bet on the regular. This is not something that I put a lot of money on. This is seriously just fun money. So the first piece of this one is kind of like one of the obviously pieces. This is Dakota Hudson to not get the win. It's obviously way too juiced to play straight up, but you can put it in fun parlays like this and it can have some value. So Dakota Hudson to not get the win. Even though his innings prop for Hudson for this one is right at the 5 mark. So 5 innings is only what his innings prop is. And even that, the way the line was moving suggested it would be less. And then you also have his earned runs are juiced to the over, which means that they're thinking 3. His hits were juiced to the over when it opened to indicate 6 instead of a 5.5, which is the standard. Walks are pretty standard. He actually has the highest projected, second highest projected whip of any starting pitcher today. The only one higher than him is Mr. Corbin, Patrick Corbin, which is pretty standard for him. Innings prop is under what he's been averaging considerably. So for this one, I think you can go one of 2 ways. I think you can go with the full game. The full game total is it's high for a reason at 10. Or I think what you can do is I think that you can isolate the Orioles team totals on this one, because what I'm seeing from how Dakota Hudson's line was set is that he's been at a 3.5, or even there were a couple of games where he's at a 4.5 for Ks as well. Only at a 2.5 tonight, and the Orioles are not exactly the model for not striking out. They're not bad, but they're not great either. So this one opened at a 2.5, should have been a 3.5. When you combine it with the hits and the walks, what that tells me is that they think that Hudson is going to get absolutely tossed around tonight. I totally understand that line of thinking. So you can do one of 2 things. I think you can go with the full game over if you want, or you can isolate this one if you think that Kramer is going to go out and give him a good start, and you can take the Orioles team total. It's a little high, but it's high for a reason, at over 5.5 at plus 115. If you're doing that, I would do a half unit, but I think if you're doing the full game over 10, I think that you can do a full unit on that one. So I'll make my official play Cardinals Orioles over 10.
Yeah, I guess. By the way, I guess it was Kramer the whole time, and I'm just a fucking donkey. I don't know why. I thought it was John Means today, but I'm ready for John Means tomorrow. I bet the Orioles already. I got it last night at minus 114. So it's kind of funny that I guess wrote down John Means for some reason. So I'm excited to see John Means pitch, I suppose. All right, let's go to the next game here, Doc. A game that I'm not very interested in at all. Didn't take the time to really cap it. Corbin versus the Pirates, but I will say the Pirates being minus 140 favorites is a little ridiculous. I know it's Patrick Corbin, but I lean that way. And by the way, I should read off the markets real quick. I forgot to do that for the first game, so we'll go back real quick. 88% of the bets and 72% of the money on the Orioles, obviously, not a surprise there. And totals wise, 87% of the bets and 86% of the money on the over. Now, for Nationals Pirates here, we've got 32% of the bets, but 81% of the money on the Pirates. It seems like the Sharps are always on the Pirates for some reason or another. And then total is basically the same, but a little less money. 36% of the bets and 57% of the money on the under here, surprisingly enough. So yeah, Sharps seem like they're on the Pirates, but I passed on this game. I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, this was one where I looked early, potentially, and actually when it was at 4.5, I was close to considering it for Corbin's under strikeouts, but I do have this as pretty much 50-50 if he gets almost 50-50 if he gets 4 or he gets 5. He's gone over this total a number of times in his last few starts. He has, I mentioned it just before, he has the highest whip, projected whip on the board at almost 1.6. That's pretty consistent with how he's been on the road. It's actually a little bit better. So I just don't want anything to do with this game. I'm not going to have $1 on this. This is not part of the parlay I talked about earlier. I'm not probably going to watch 1 second of this game. Oh, you're on mute.
Sicko mute button. See, I'm on shambles today, guys. I'm in absolute shambles today.
John Means just mind fucked you, man.
I know. I was fully ready for John Means. Now I can't hit the unmute, apparently. Rocco Rogers on Key Brian Hayes Reynolds parlays there for hits. A little Key Brian Hayes home run as well. Shout out to everyone in here joining us. As always, by the way, appreciate Roger that complimenting the new font on the words. I appreciate that. It's called Prohibition. So I appreciate you the compliments. Those are the compliments I actually appreciate. Next game, we can't really talk about it. It's Braves Phillies. They just finished game 2 or game 1, I guess, like an hour ago. Bryce Harper was doing great, et cetera, et cetera. Had a clutch hit, but the Braves still won. I don't have a pitcher for the Braves yet. I don't know if anyone else does here. I'll refresh my odds sheet to see. Oh, actually, I do have a pitcher. It seems to be Kyle Wright versus Michael Lorenzen. Pretty cheap, -130 for the Braves against the Phillies here, but the bullpen is obviously taxed after a high-scoring game 1, total of 10 here. Doc, do you have any thoughts on this game?
No, I typically stay away from doubleheaders. I mean, I guess you can approach with the angle of just take the team that loses game 1. That worked at a higher than 50% clip last year, but that's literally a guess. That's not something I'm telling anybody to bet on. No official action. So I would punt on this game entirely.
Agreed. Doc, by the way, you're frozen currently. We can still hear you. Lovely.
I'm frozen now?
Yes, you're frozen. It's just okay, here we go. You're back now.
Okay, I was saying it didn't freeze for me. Okay.
Good, great. Because you were frozen for a hot minute here. That whole breakdown, you were frozen, but we heard you great. So I was like, this is great.
Well, good.
I love to see it. Cover King, guess what? I still don't work out because working out's for squares. So no thank you there, Cover Things. But I appreciate your comment. My face, I guess, is slimmer nowadays. I guess that's what winning does. It makes you look better. Texas-Toronto, one of the games of the night, one of the games of the next few days that I'll be watching with close eyes here because arguably this could be the series that decides my will the Rangers make the playoffs bet. We've talked about this for several fucking weeks now. I've done my victory lap laughing at the Rangers fall. Now they're out of the playoffs right now by a half game. Toronto is up 1 game. The Seattle Mariners are up a half game on the Rangers. So Tampa Bay, who's cruising, Toronto, Seattle, Texas right now. And we've got, I believe it's 4 games here against these 2 teams. And it's going to be an interesting one to say the least. Now, most people will come in here and think that I'm going to be on the Toronto Blue Jays. I faded the Rangers for weeks. Laughed at them, pointed, bet them every game, or bet against them every game when they're in Astros, bet against them when they were playing the A's that first game, just pointing and laughing. That was the game, or I guess that was the one game that got me over the top this season. I said those were the most important bets I would make the whole season to decide my fate, and it came through for me. And again, I just kind of had this reputation of being anti-Rangers, but here I am, betting Rangers first 5 in full game. And now I'll tell you why. Because I guess second half of the season, maybe last month or so, maybe last month and a half, you kind of have to just realize that the pitchers just don't really matter. We know a lot about these teams at this point. And the market knows at this point, and betting with the market has just been very beneficial for me these last few weeks. And I've been doubling up on them as well, which has been great. And the market's just screaming Rangers to me here. This line opened at -145 for the Blue Jays and is dropped to -129. But guess what? 46% of the bets and 87% of the money are on the Blue Jays here. And the line's just gotten cheaper. Everyone just come on, bet the Blue Jays, jump on the Blue Jays bandwagon and put them out of their misery today. The Blue Jays have made every fucking game they've won against these last like 2 series who have been against like horrible teams. I think it was the A's and Royals back to back. Just 2 shit teams. I don't remember exactly who, but they made every game in those series look just difficult and painful. And the Rangers have to be just so motivated to beat the Blue Jays in this series. They have to. They've blown such a big lead. I think Boshi will get the guys going and let them have a good start to this series here. Dane Dunning coming off of 2 shit starts too, but he pitched well against the Blue Jays earlier in the season. Got crushed against the Astros in his last start. 9 earned runs. 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs against the Mets before. That's fine here. But I like Dunning here coming off that shit start. And he's coming on back-to-back 8-inning performances. This late in the season, he's not a young guy. So I'll fade that every time too. 8 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run against the Oakland A's, and 8 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs against the Nationals at home. And also he faced the Rangers earlier this season. Probably when the Rangers were obviously a hotter baseball club and healthier for that matter. 3 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned there as well. So give me the Rangers here today, as the market's just telling me to bet the Rangers and watch everyone bet the Blue Jays and keep that number going up and up and up was money percentage, and then the line will keep just falling to the Rangers for some reason. So Blue Jays fading here for me. What do you think?
All right. Well, first of all, you can see me move, right? I just want to make sure.
Yes, you're solid right now.
All right. So this game for me, what I have down is head says Rangers, heart says Blue Jays. Heart / typical narrative says Blue Jays. So when that typically happens, I almost always pass. You would think that with a pitcher like Dunning, especially coming off of his last few starts, that his props would be elevated. Now his strikeout prop is down at 3.5, but that was heavily juiced to the over. The ones that were a little suspicious for me to want to just jump all over the Blue Jays, especially first 5, would be he has the quote unquote standard lines for starting pitchers. That would be 5 to 6 innings, 2.5 earned runs, 5.5 hits, 1.5 walks. When those are the pitcher's lines, that's what you would think from like a quote unquote average start. So because Dunning has that, and then I go over to the other side and I look at Bassett, and Bassett are basically the same. That's where I get a little bit nervous about taking the Jays here, because what I would expect is for the earned runs to be juiced where you would think Dunning would give up 3 or more, or even 6 hits, 6 or 7 hits, but it's not. It's actually, you know what? It's actually moved a little bit too, where it's still right in that 5 to 5.5 range. So this is one where because I just can't find enough signs on one side or the other, I'm just going to save my money and punt to the next one.
Well, I'm going to be watching this game with a microscope on it. I'll tell you that. Doc, unfortunately, you're frozen again, so I'm going to give you the boot real quick. Give it the refresh, and we'll bring it
I'll sign back in. All right.
Beautiful. All right. Well, here, Doc will be back in just a second. I'll leave that lovely square available for him as well. So it's going to be fun to watch this game. And like I said, I mean, obviously, I'm Rangers hater number 1 apparently because I made that bet. But it feels like a win-win situation for me, even if the Rangers do end up winning this ball game. Or sorry, if they do end up winning the ball game, I get those 2 bets hopefully cashing. If the Blue Jays win, that's just another game back. So I can't wait. All right, let's go to our next game here. And boy, oh boy, is it going to be an interesting series in Fenway Park this week. Yankees come to town. No, unfortunately for them, no Jason Dominguez. Well, at least I don't think he's playing. He ripped his UCL, and I'm assuming he's going back into surgery for it. Hello, Doc. Welcome back. And that's cruel. I genuinely felt bad for Yankees fans for a half second when I saw Jason Dominguez UCL tear. Now, obviously, you can come back from that quicker than pitchers, but Still tough. But I just at the end of the day, there are certain teams that I will just bet against or bet with against other teams. Example of that was the Rangers and the Astros. I'll bet the Astros every single time they play. This is just another scenario. The Red Sox own the Yankees. I think the Yankees have beaten them once this year. We swept the board with the Red Sox last time they played. This is a battle of who wants to finish in last place in the American League East. And I'm sure the fan bases care a lot more than the players do, but the Red Sox at home here, I just like their chances here better. Cutter Crawford hitting that career high innings. It's a little worrisome, obviously. And Clark Schmidt has pitched well against the Red Sox. This will be his fourth time against them, but still bet the Red Sox here. I took the -1 here. I've been avoiding laying juice in some instances. In some instances, obviously not the Cubs, which we'll talk about later. But I took the Red Sox -1 here last night, plus 112. Doc, what do you think about this game?
All right. So no props for me on this one either. This one was, I did look briefly at both pitchers' unders, and they actually made it a decently far in the capping that I do. I think if you're going to look for an under, you probably want to look at Crawford a little bit more, especially with the 5.5, getting the extra K at home. His lines here are a little bit slanted towards like he might have a better than expected start. Only projected to give up 4.5 basically hits and still pitch 5 innings. So that is something that, like I said, I might look for a first 5, but this is one where to me, you can probably flip a coin. So it's something that I just didn't want much of.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching this game. Probably just annoyed the whole time because this is a no-win situation for the Red Sox. Unfortunately, it's like you beat the Yankees, great. You're supposed to. If you lose to them, it's just annoying, super annoying.
Only thing I would look at in this game, and like I said, I have no play on either one, but I think that if you wanted to have something on the pitchers for this game, either one for a small bet under strikeouts would be the way to look.
By the way, market in this game, 38% of the bets, 45% of the money on the Red Sox. So bigger money. Well, no, I wouldn't say bigger money, but just a little more percentage of bets and slightly more money on the Yankees there. And totals wise here, wow, 34% of the bets and 77% of the money on the under in this game. So I don't hate that at all.
And you also have Todd Tichenor behind the plate. He is a hitter slanted umpire, only a 20.3% K percentage for the year. In games that he umpires, strikeouts can go down by as much as 10%, and walks go up by as much as, usually in the 2 to 3% range. So, the walks there would favor the Yankees because they take so many pitches. But the lines in this one tell me that Crawford probably has just as good of a start as Clark Schmidt. So maybe the under, but again, everything that I'm throwing out here, I only have lukewarm feelings about, and it is more of a guess.
Totally understand there. -1 for the Red Sox for me. Let us move on to our next game. And by the way, yes, people in the chat mentioning Covered King saying there's some rain in the forecast. Yeah, the next couple of games here we'll talk about are all in red and RotoWire. So you know what that means, rain in the area. Red Sox, Yankees, Diamondbacks, Mets, Royals, White Sox, all shrouded with rain in here. And we'll talk about Royals, White Sox right now. I have no total for this. All right, I didn't when I was making the graphics at the very least. So it was very weird. This is just money lines here, and it was Singer versus Dylan Cease, and I was like, okay, whatever. So I just made the graphics. Now we've got an 8.5 as the total, which I guess is like the default total. But we just saw this matchup, and I'm fairly certain I took an under or something in this matchup. I don't remember what I did, but I thought I was on it in some sort of situation here. 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 home runs against Brady Singer there, and that was at home where he pitches a lot better. And our guy Dylan Cease has been horrible since the White Sox kind of threw away the season. He just kind of just said, fuck it, I don't care anymore. I'm just going out there and throwing, hoping I stay healthy to finish the season, et cetera, kind of thing. He had the Royals 5 and a third, 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 3 home runs himself as well, 7 Ks, 2 walks. And both of these guys again have faced these opponents already twice now. So that was the most recent starts. But Singer went 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run at home. That's why I probably thought he could do it again. Didn't, obviously. And then Cease got crushed yet again against the Royals. His first start, like I've mentioned in previous shows, 7 innings, a home run. 7 earned runs, a home run, and 5 innings pitched. So I lean over in this game generally, but the rains in the forecast is kind of worrisome. I didn't really want anything to do with this game, especially because Brady Singer's home road splits are crazy. 4.35 home ERA compared to a 6.91 on the road. So nothing here for me, Doc. What do you think?
Yeah, this was one that I had to cross off my strikeout list pretty quickly because these are the situations that I always tell people: danger, 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 watch out, be careful. Here's why. Cease just faced the Royals. This is obviously a back-to-back for him on the 5th in Kansas City you mentioned some of the stats, but he also K'd 7. His line tonight is at 7.5. Now it's plus money to the over, but on a back-to-back against a team like the Royals, where the line has normalized for them because of the contact that they've been making over the last 30 days, to the point where they're actually one of the higher contact teams in the league now during that time. 76.5% league average total contact. Royals are at 77. They also have a higher than normal inside and outside the zone contact rate. So why that's important is because it just, when you just saw a guy, no matter how many times you faced him, and you're going to run essentially the same lineup less than a week later, that's hard. That's hard. And the fact that this is not set, or that this is set at a 7.5 when he just got 7 a week ago, I had to pass on that one. I was expecting to see a much different line. What I was expecting to see was a 6.5 juice to the over, or even potentially juice heavy to the under on this one. I get worried about this one. I get worried that that Dylan Cease might actually go ballistic and strike out 8 or 9 tonight. Now, since he has been very, very, very shaky about actually doing that. In fact, he hasn't done it since July 22nd against my Twins. I can't bet it, so I am completely off this one. This is another game where, given that scenario, my initial lean was Royals, but I look at the action on this one, and it does seem to indicate that there at least was at one point some sharp money on the Sox, and that's a rarity that you see about seeing a home chalk for a team that's as bad as the White Sox are, to being minus 130 faves and having sharp action on them. I am just going to stay away from this game because if you follow the some of the normal narratives for this one, it seems like a trap. So I'm going to pass. Yeah,
and you're right about the sharp money. 40% of the bets, 82% of the money on the White Sox. Yeah, pretty crazy. So stay off game for me. I guess I lean White Sox with that just information alone, but not enough for me to get there. Next game on our slate, Miami Marlins versus the Milwaukee Brewers. It's hard for me to get up for this game. This would have to be a playoff game for me to get up for. It's an excellent pitching matchup in Woodruff and Luzardo. I like it a lot. And the 7 obviously indicates that this could be a low-scoring ball game. But 7, honestly, I lean over. But the Brewers, it's been all year with the Brewers how bad they've been against lefties. And I don't trust the Marlins offense to get any runs off of Woodruff. He's really good, just flat out. So a pretty easy pass here for me, Doc. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so I'm invested a couple ways on this game, and so there's a few that I'll give out here. Number one is part 2 of the parlay here is Brandon Woodruff to get the win for this one. All the way, every which way this is lined is that Woodruff is going to come out and have a wonderful start. What I mean by this is when you look at his lines, you see that he's projected to go 6, which is pretty standard for him, but even with the extra inning, and even that would put him up in the 100 pitch count range. Earned runs are under standard at 2.5. Hits are way under standard for how long he's going to pitch at 4.5. Normally, when you see a guy that's projected to go 6 or more, he's at 6 hits. That's usually the formula that the books use is one hit and about 0.5 ish, depending on the pitcher, or maybe every third inning walks. His walks is projected at 1. One of the best projected whips tonight by a lot. And like I said, he's projected to go a full complement of innings and throw 100 pitches. So this to me just says that Woodruff is going to come out and pitch quite well. That's especially true when you look at a lot of the Marlins lineup against that changeup, more specifically against him as well. Against the projected lineup earlier, he had a 34% strikeout percentage and I think an ERA under 3. So my play for this one, and I'm going to go a full unit. I'm going to not be scared on this one. I'm going to say Marlins first 5 team total under 1.5. I know it's only 1 run, but I am actually very, very confident in Woody tonight. So Marlins first 5 team total under 1.5 is the second play.
Wow. Do you have any thoughts on Luzardo against these bad Brewers offense or bad Brewers bats against lefties?
For Luzardo, no. Everything for him looks like it should be. I mean, the 5.5 is a tough one because he is on the road. Has actually struggled a little bit, if I remember right, more with walks on the road. And the Brewers are not the strikeout team, the automatic over strikeout look that they were earlier in the season. They have really dialed it in here, especially since the All-Star break, and been much more of a contact team. So I probably don't want much to do with Luzardo. I certainly don't want his strikeouts. That one I think is set almost perfectly.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, Doc, for your thoughts. I have both legs of the parlay written down thus far. So let's move on. By the way,
2 down, 3 to go.
Woodruff plus 130 there to get the win. So very
on its own. Yep. On its own is plus 130.
All right, Tampa Bay Rays versus the Minnesota Twins. Your Minnesota Twins here, Doc, and I'm glad that you're here because you know this. I've been high on the Minnesota Twins all year. They were my choice to win the AL Central.
Yep.
We never backed down when the Guardians were there. We didn't back down when the White Sox thought they had a chance. And guess what? I'm on first 5 full game Minnesota Twins here. I'll fade Tyler Glasnow off of one of his career best starts against my Red Sox. What was it already? I'm sure you knew this off to 14 Ks. 14 Ks for Tyler Glasnow, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned runs against the Red Sox. That's great, all great and all, but I'll fade that every time. And it's just like I said, the pitcher or the basketball player goes for 40. The next night you fade him with his under player, pitcher, or whatever the fuck, points prop. Same thing here is kind of what I'm doing now. It's interesting because this is another just reverse line movement spot for me that also helps me have the confidence to back Sonny Gray here. Open up at minus 130, now drop down to minus 115, minus 112 at some places. And if you just go to the market here, it's funny. The market actually, it's just moving because there's more money on the Twins. Interesting. Earlier in the day, it was not the case here, but 48% of the bets and 85% of the money on the Minnesota Twins here. Very interesting indeed. So,
all right. Part 3 of the get a win parlay. Tyler Glasnow, no go. Tyler Glasnow do not get the win. That is part 3. So I am with you on this one. This is a twin spot, and this is not a homer pick for me at all. So I would not be surprised if, the books don't release it. Not like it's like hugely influential information to anybody, but like people like me about what is the most bet strikeout prop today. And I think until they moved it to 8.5 for Glasnow, I am pretty confident that Glasnow over 7.5 was one of them because of the narrative, Jose. Like he just smacked against the Red Sox. He just had 14. He's been dominant. The Twins strike out all the time, blah, 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 blah. Go back and look at their recent results. That has not been the case recently. Ever since they took Joey Gallo out of the lineup. He's on IL now, but he was out of the lineup before that happened. The other piece to this is that they've been taking Solano out of the lineup as well, who is also a walking strikeout. And the third piece to this is Julian, who's batting leadoff now, who was a walking strikeout earlier in the season, has actually been making a lot more contact lately. So the Twins as a team, the average chase rate for teams over the last 30 days is 29%. The Minnesota Twins, and this is a real stat, are 26.5%. They are top 10 in lowest chase rate. The Minnesota Twins, my Twins, my strikeout heavy Twins are top 10. Now, their strikeouts have gone down. Their walks have gone up considerably. Against righties, they are walking over 10% of the time. And why that matters here is because they're taking so many more pitches than for a line, especially not so much the 7.5, but for a line like the 8.5. People don't realize, I said this on Sharpie's show when I took Max Scherzer under 8.5 at home against the Twins. And a couple of people thought I was crazy, but I said, think about this way though. Think about how much has to go right for a pitcher to hit 9+ Ks on the road against a division leader that has some of the stats that I just mentioned for the Twins. Literally everything has to go right and almost nothing can go wrong. You add in the sharp action indicators on the Twins, and I want nothing to do with Tyler Glasnow's strikeout prop tonight. I didn't want it at 7.5. I mean, I honestly, I'd be more willing to take under 7.5 at plus money than I would under 8.5 juice. Because I do think that this is one of two things tonight. He either goes out and just smacks a shit out of him and we're all wrong, and it's another double-digit game and he dominates, or he gets like 5 or 6 and just never comes close. That's what this line says to me. So I'm with you on the Twins. I am on the Twins for the first 5, and I totally understand why you would go full game. So my official play for this one would be Minnesota Twins first 5, and I believe the straight up money line, which is -105. I think you can get it at even money depending on where you look. So
yeah, I'm excited. We'll both be rooting on the Twins tonight hard. Sonny Gray, someone we didn't really mention, but I think we all kind of know what we're going to get from Sonny Gray. He's just kind of the same guy again and again and again. And he's coming off of a shaky-ish start, too, which isn't a back-to-back, which makes me feel okay. So
yeah. Actually, my son asked me the other day, he said, if Garrett Cole were in the NL, would Sonny Gray be a legit AL Cy Young contender? And I said,
wow.
That might be a little far, but I said, but then you go and you look at his advanced stats and it's like, okay, I see it. I see it. He has been quite good for us. I might personally look at his teammate, Mr. Lopez, but that's me.
Yes.
But anyways, no, this one, the original line for Glasnow, it's gone up to 8.5 now. But when I saw that 7.5, I like all kinds of warning alarm bells went off in my head, because the way it was juiced, they were begging for over money, just begging, like, come on, please, 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 public, give us over money. And whenever that is the case, I do one of two things. I fade the shit out of him, or I just pass entirely. And you know what? If he hits over, if he hits under, honestly, I don't really care which side of this hits. I'm not going to feel bad not having $1 on it, on the strikeout prop.
Well, I'm excited to bet the Twins here today. It's one of the more exciting games of my day as well. Let's go on to another game. And, Dabby Cab, who was in the chat earlier, shout out to Dabby. Might talk shit about these A's, but I keep betting on them and we keep winning. It's a great time. You just have to pick your spots. And the only spots you can bet them are Paul Blackburn days and where our old friend Mason Miller comes back. Mason Miller, who earlier this season, I believe it was. Now, time is just fucking some motherfucker. But earlier in this season, Mason Miller came up and was just dominant, throwing hard as hell. And it was just not something you see from the Oakland A's. It's like, wow, what is this? And this, unfortunately, was a -300 earlier today. And everyone knows how I feel about minus 300s. Now, again, Framber Valdez is my favorite lefty in the league. He's so good. Gets you to ground out every which way. He almost damn threw a no-hitter against these Oakland A's. He went 9 shutout against the A's earlier this season at home. He's had 3 starts against them. This will be his 4th. 9 shut, like I mentioned. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run right after that at the Coliseum. And then 1 bad one at the Coliseum. 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs. He's had a couple good starts in a row here. Last start, most notably against the Rangers, 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, and basically a playoff start for him there against the team they were chasing, et cetera, et cetera. I think there's going to be some let off the gas here, maybe not as much focus because it's the Oakland A's here. And I think the A's pitcher obviously is very good and very impressive, Mason Miller. So I took the A's plus 1.5. It's just one of those things that have been, maybe it's a little bit safe, but it's been cashing a hell of a lot. So Oakland A's plus 1.5, plus 120 for me here, Doc.
That would be my lean as well. It's not something that I have anything official on. One other thing with Mason Miller is that he is probably going to be on a pitch count tonight. My guess would be 50 tops. He is coming back from UCL. A UCL injury. They are babying this kid. They know this is their future. So I would be very, very surprised if he pitches longer than 3 innings. And then you're going to see Paul Blackburn, who has been average, but not great against the Astros. But with your Framber Valdez one, yeah, I'm looking at this one. And I actually think that there should probably be even more disparity in this line tonight if you believe in Framber and you believe in the Astros. And so for me, I'm probably just going to be off a side on this one. For Framber, his props are all set pretty much right where they should be. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room there. It's not like great value, but it's not like you're getting crushed either. The one thing to note here is that Valdez only does have a 23.7% K percentage against righties at home, and the A's are expected to run 8 of them tonight. Now, granted, it's the A's, so it's not like we're talking world-class righties here, but against righties in spots like this are times where Valdez can struggle. So I think if you're leaning on this one, you got to lean the A's. There's no way that I'm going to pay this juice of any kind for the Astros, but for the sides and total and everything, I'll just pass on this one.
A's plus 1.5 for me. Let's talk about the market real quick before we move on here. You guys will be, I think, shocked to hear this. If I could fucking find them. There we are. 7. These amount of percentage of on my fingers, 7% of the bets on the Oakland A's, but 85% of the money is on the Oakland A's here tonight. So somebody has big money on the Oakland A's here tonight. 68% of the bets and 93% of the money on the over in this game as well. So it's going to be fun to watch and see how this game goes. And by the way, Doc, I was thinking about this. I know you're obviously not from Texas, so the distances won't register for you maybe. But I this week am thinking about doing the Texas two-step, going to Rangers Red Sox, and then the very next day going to Astros Orioles. Back to back, driving up one day to the Rangers. That's about 4 hours from San Antonio, watching that game, and then going immediately from Dallas to Houston, which I think is like another 3 hours. I'm not sure. But then going there, sleeping there, and then going to the Orioles Astros game the next day. So I might be doing that this week. That is something I've been percolating in my head, and I think it might be fun. So something I think
awesome.
It'd be very interesting to say the least here, but it'll be a hell of a drive. All right, let's talk about the other team that I have started betting every day now. It's been 3 or 4 days now. I think we're 2-2 at this point. I don't remember exactly. I'm not keeping a close record with these, but the Chicago Cubs. I've said this a couple times. I saw our guys Saturated, Troy Torrance, a few others, BJ, making bets on the Cubs basically every day, saying they're winning every day. Essentially, the Cubs have just been really, really good. And they get lined in pretty interesting ways. So now I've just decided I'm just blindly backing them here every day. Now today, obviously they're facing the Rockies at the Rockies, and you're going to get some juice with that. So I've ate the juice here. I took Cubs -1 at -146 for me here. Now I remember this same thing was with the Orioles happened. I think it was actually the Rockies themselves. We ate the juice every time. We actually went 3-0, got a nice sweep, so we didn't have to worry about the juice, which was great. But I'm just going to ride it again here. Cubs -1, -146. I can tell you that Kyle Freeland's bad, but we all know that. I mean, is Kyle Freeland 6-14 kind of speaks for itself, especially in Coors. It gives up shots. And Jordan Wicks is, it's been like 4 starts, I think it has been, and he's been pretty solid. 6 innings, 6 2/3, actually, 9 hits, 2 earned runs against the Giants. So I go Cubs -1 here, Doc. What do you think?
Yeah, this is part 4 of the parlay, 4 or 5. Kyle Freeland to get the win. No, that's one of those, to me, rather easy ones you can just kind of throw in to make the price a little sweeter. Obviously, you're never betting that on its own, but Freeland right now, when you compare, even for him, his season averages to what's projected tonight, this indicates that he could just get smacked the hell around. So, when you pitch at Coors and you're Kyle Freeland, your props are automatically up. I talked about the 2.5, 5.5, 1.5. We're at 3.5 and 6.5, almost to 7 right now, when he's only projected to pitch 5 innings. So you do the math and tell me if you think that he's going to have a good start. No, probably not. So I'm with you on this one for the Cubs, but my take on the Cubs for this one is actually going to be on their first 5 team total over. The plus money is getting me here too much with how they've been lately. So first 5 over 3.5 team total plus 115. That is an official one. I could actually see them in the first 5 getting 5, to be quite honest with you. So especially given where they're playing, what their likely lineup is. Kyle Freeland. And another thing to note, I'm not on this strikeout prop at all, but the projected lineup in 69 plate appearances against Kyle Freeland lifetime has struck out a grand total of 6 times. 6. So 6 times. So that indicates to me that the ball is going to be put in play. When you have the type of hitters that the Cubs do, you put the ball in play against a pitcher like Freeland at a park like Coors. Good things offensively will happen. Plus money is too much for me. Normally I don't like playing, 4+ runs in the first 5 innings, but it's very appropriate here. So plus 115 official.
Jesus. And by the way, Remos is about to watch me talk about John Means for 5 minutes and then realize it's not John Means. So apologies to Remos when you get to this part of the video. He's going to fucking sewer me. Shout out to Remos. All right. We're both on the Cubs on a certain way. What odds were you getting on that parlay, Doc?
Well, I got one more piece left.
Oh, you have one more piece left. Oh, okay,
yeah.
It's 5 legs, right? Beautiful.
All right, it's 5 legs. So we got one more, and I think we're gonna have to go to the last game of the night to get there.
Okay, well, let's hopefully get there. I've got an action on that last game too. Angels Mariners here. Angels are dead. Who cares? Easy pass here. I respect Reed Detmers. He's better than what his record says he is, but not something I'm backing here, Doc. The easiest pass on the board for me. What'd you have here?
Part 5 right here. Last
wow.
one. Logan Gilbert, yes, to get the win. So you add all those 5 up together, that would be the official total play. And again, super light, fun money would be yes to get the win on Woodruff and Gilbert. To not get the win, Dakota Hudson, Kyle Freeland, and Glasnow. And when I ran it earlier on DK, that was plus 1,009. Plus 1,009.
Okay, so, Gilbert.
Now, as far as this game goes, and I think that I agree with you that Reed Detmers is a better pitcher than what he's been. But where I delineate is that he has not done anything to show it recently. Because normally sometimes when a pitcher gets a bunch of losses like he has, you think, okay, well, his team's sucks. So that could be part of it. But Reed Detmers looks so shaky. Even go to his last start, and his four-seam velo was down by 1.2 miles an hour. His curveball velocity was down by 2 miles an hour. His spin rates on both his breaking balls were down by over 100 RPMs. 100, 50 when you're tracking this stuff the way that I do. 50 is considered something to pay attention to. 75 is considered significant. 100 is almost unheard of. So you think, okay, it's one start. You go back to his last few starts before that: four-seam velo down 1.2, slider down 1, curveball down almost almost 1 full mile an hour. Spin rates were down on a few pitches for those games too. This is not the same Reed Detmers at all, like in the least. And so therefore, and I'm going to post it pretty quickly, this is a rarity for me. So take note of this one. I'm going to take an under prop on the Mariners at home, on the Seattle Mariners. And that is a very, very rare occurrence, which should tell you the confidence I have in this one. Reed Detmers under 5.5 strikeouts, minus 104. His props are set as if he will get hit a little bit. Walks are up. He's only projected to go 5 innings. So to get 6 strikeouts against this team, yes, you could. However, not when your spin's down by 100 RPMs on your breaking balls and your velo is down over 1 mile an hour on your four-seam fastball, which you throw over 40% of the time to set up those breaking balls. So I also look at the whiff percentage against a four-seam fastball for the Mariners, and you have, despite the fact that they K a ton, you have guys that have very, very low whiff percentages against a four-seam fastball. So you have Crawford at 11%, you have France at 18, you have Caballero, who's projected to be in the lineup, at 18, you have Rodriguez at 20, so on and so forth. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is that Detmer needs to get strikes off of the fastball to set up the breaking balls. He can't get strikeouts if he doesn't do that. That you saw that in a few of his last starts where the velo on the fastball wasn't there to blow it by guys. So you don't even get to those 1-2 or 0-2, et cetera counts where you can even waste a pitch trying to get a guy to chase. So, to anybody who might say, well, the Mariners, swing a lot and chase a lot. Yeah, I mean, they're right at league average the last 30 days. But the problem here is that Detmers doesn't even get there because in his last few starts, the number of 1-2 and 0-2 counts that he's gotten hitters down to, it just drops abysmally. And when you can't do that, it doesn't matter who you're facing. The other part with this one is while some of the Mariners hitters, such as Teoscar, Kalenic, Cal Raleigh, do have higher whiff percentages against those breaking balls that he throws, slider and curve most notably, is that the spin with the spin on those being down by 100 RPMs neutralizes any advantage Reed Detmers might have. And I know it sounds like I'm shitting on the guy, but I would not be surprised if something was wrong with him, either mechanically or injury-wise, because you don't see a guy going from what he throws and the spin that he throws it at to what he's throwing it at now. One start, okay, fine, things happen. 2 starts makes me pay attention. 3 or more, it's a trend. It's been that way for, I think, 3 out of the last 4 starts. That's more than enough evidence for me. I think that the line is set as if the line seemed trappy to begin with. Seemed like they're begging for over money because, it's Detmers who struck out a bunch of guys earlier in the season, and it's the Mariners who strike out a lot. I'm not buying it at all. I'm on the under here.
And what was the odds you got for the parlay? I'm going to be joining you here with this.
Plus 1,009 is what I got.
All right, beautiful. I'm going to jump
on
with you.
Super light, super light sprinkle. Just fun money. You don't care if you lose.
All right, let's go to our next game here. We got 2 more left. Guardians, Giants. It's 2 pitchers I like, but I just can't get there with this game either, Doc. I like Alex Cobb. He obviously got crushed in his last start against the Padres. That was coming off of a 9-inning performance there. Predictable old pitcher going 9 innings. You fade him the next start. Not surprising there. And Gavin Williams had kind of, I don't know, like a rookie wall moment, some mechanical issues, whatever it may be. Hit a wall, came out of the bullpen for an appearance, and now came out of the rotation. Well, I don't think it was the bullpen. I think it was just 1 inning. of a start, and then something happened. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it was rain, whatever. But had a 1 inning performance, and now he's coming off of 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 4 walks against the Minnesota Twins. So I pass on this game too. I'd probably go underdog or pass and lean under, but it's just a tough game for me.
Nothing. Nope. No good for me. If you gave me a free play, I'd probably take the Guardians. I might look at Gavin Williams strikeouts, but this is one that I was able to cross off pretty quickly.
Agreed. Let's go to the last game then. We've got the Padres versus the Dodgers here, and this was one of those games where I'll just blindly bet the Padres against the Dodgers basically every time. The Dodgers just kind of beat up on the Padres in the regular season. It's just been a thing now, and I'm just gonna accept it. I know it's Gavin Stone versus Pedro Avila. Pedro Avila, who has seen the Dodgers already, which was the first thing that made me realize, like, oh yeah, I'm definitely fading this guy. And he went 4 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, 1 walk. I challenge you to do that again, Pedro Avila, with no Mookie Betts, who I have not heard any news about him. Obviously, it's football season, so it's hard to get baseball news through all the football waves. But I have not heard of Mookie Betts being in the lineup. He's in the expected lineup on RotoWire, but I don't really believe that shit. So let me know if you guys know if he is or isn't going to be in there, if he has in the lineup. But just Dodgers -1 pretty easily for me here, Doc. -1, -122. Fade the Padres against the Dodgers. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that Rocco might have mentioned
Beautiful,
it.
yes. He said came back.
No. About the balls are going to be flying everywhere tonight. I would agree with that completely. This is an over spot for me. I think you can look at the Dodgers team total over, or you can look at the full game over, because it's not like I don't necessarily expect Stone to light up the world either. So the over 10 is -105 right now. I'll make that official for a half a unit. I'm not supremely confident in it, but it is enough for me to want to move there. So I think that what you can also do if you want to is to split up a half unit between the Dodgers team total and the full game over as well. I think I see, especially with some of these numbers for both these pitchers, I see a lot of potential for hard contact. A lot of power going on tonight. So over 10, -105.
Well, this is going to be a fun night of baseball. I've got a lot of action in here. As we mentioned, this was my first official show actually as a winning capper this year. Funny enough, 408, 405, and 65, up 1.84 units on the year, and looking to build. So it's going to be a fun night indeed. So let's review our action here, Doc. I'll let you go first this time.
Okay. Yeah. I'll recap the parlay last. I saw a few questions about it. So the straight action for me tonight is Cardinals and Orioles over 10 at -104. Twins first 5 money line at -105 or even. I think you can get it in some places. Cubs first 5 team total over 3.5 at +115. That goes along with me thinking Kyle Freeland's going to get smacked. Dodgers Padres over 10 at -105, and tout prop of the day, which I'm posting separately after the show's over, Reed Detmers under 5.5 strikeouts. And I believe when we went on, the best line you could get it for was -104 on FanDuel. And then the parlay. So it's 5 legs, 2 pitchers to get the win, 3 to not. The 2 to get the win, yes, Woodruff and Logan Gilbert. And then the no's, Dakota Hudson, Kyle Freeland, Tyler Glasnow. So Woodruff and Gilbert, yes. Hudson, Freeland, Glasnow, no. And I'll tweet this after the show is over, obviously.
Yes, and I'm going to join you as well. It'll be official for my record. We'll obviously make it official for 1 unit on my record. So if it hit, then I'll just sit back and enjoy the rest of the year, I guess, because that would be really
10
fun.
units.
I'll be like, all right, guys, that's
a 10-unit hit.
That's it. That's the season. Oh gosh, let's recap this action or for the slate for me here. I tweeted out my action here, but I'll be adding the parlay, obviously. Orioles -1, -114. John Means is not pitching today. It is Dean Kramer. Just a note for that, not for anyone else, just for myself. For -114, I got for that last night. Dodgers -1, -122. Cubs -1, a juicy minus 146. Red Sox -1, plus 112. Oakland A's plus 1.5, plus 120. My two double ups today: Texas Rangers first five money line plus 110. Full game money line plus 119. Minnesota Twins double up first five money line minus 105. Full game money line plus 103 there. And the parlay, like Doc mentioned, I'll mention it one more time for everyone. Hudson, Dakota, that is, not Daniel or Tim. No win. Woodruff win, yes. Glasnow win, no. Freeland win, no. And Logan Gilbert win, yes. So that is 1,009 there, plus 1,009 there. So it's going to be very fun.
My advice is always on those big mega parlays, little itty bitty amount, only what you don't care, lunch money, whatever that is for you, whether it's $2 or $5 or $10, or if you're bigger, better, whatever that is, just understand that the odds are usually not in your favor on parlays to begin with. So that's why I said, keep it light, keep it fun. And for Preston, your question, where do you bet that parlay? All those odds are from DraftKings. And if you go under MLB pitcher props, there'll be strikeouts, earned runs, walks. But then next to those, you'll see to record the win, yes or no, by each pitcher's name.
There you go, Preston. Shout out to Preston. And by the way, Preston also, man. Go ahead.
So I was just to say, and the only thing you can't do with those props, with the to get the win props, which makes sense, is you obviously can't do any from the same game, because if one pitcher gets the win, then the other obviously does not. So
yeah, no, agreed. But thank you, Preston, for your question. And Preston also mentioned the Cappers contest. You can still sign up. Obviously, it's a week late. And yes, Mike, you can bet that on FanDuel as well. That's just where Doc found it. But last week has come and passed, so obviously, yes, this week is gone, so you've missed a week. But there are apparently, according to Preston, a lot of 0-5s this week, so still wide open. So please sign up as well. I'm in it. I think, the Jets are my last pick, obviously, because you know who I am, a chill. 2-2 so far, hoping to go 3-2. So let's see how it happens here tonight. Doc, I appreciate you as always. It's been a beautiful season. Thank you for joining me. There's only 2 more Mondays after this of the season.
Yeah,
basically.
I think so.
This is crazy. Doc, well, I appreciate it as always. It feels like the regular season's coming to an end. Obviously, baseball is such a fucking long grind. But I appreciate you being here when you can, and thank you for giving your knowledge as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is awesome. Fun time, and let's hit that parlay and go out with a bang.
Yeah, that parlay would be nice. That would be a great way to just point and laugh at baseball this year, because we've it has punched us in the face a few times. It's punched us in the gut, but damn it, we're punching back finally, and we're getting our money now. So it's very nice to see.
For Chen Kim, I saw, what is my top best bet? My top best bet whenever I'm on here is always my tout strikeout prop. Always. So Reed Detmer's under 5.5. That's always. That's why I'm called Spin Doc. That's what I'm known for. So
yeah. Well, follow us on Twitter at Spin Doc Sports there, and you'll see his plays at Jose Bouquett. You'll see mine there as well. We've got a loaded day today for the pub. There's an NFL Monday night's live stream. I'll be on it for a little bit. Jets Bills, big game for me as a Jets fan. This is my first soiree into finding out what's it like having a quarterback. So I'll be very interested to see how that all goes. And of course, tomorrow we've got Bankroll Blitz, the Peter Loshak Show, Balking Dead with Sharpie, the whole fleet of shows here on Pub Sports Radio, because it's a busy time now. Baseball, basketball's coming before you know it too. So tune in, subscribe, hit the like button while you guys are heading out. Say hey, and we'll see you guys next time.